Good morning. Today we're convening for the First Responder Network Authority's combined board and committee meetings. We're holding our meeting in Tysons Corner, Virginia, close to our Reston headquarters. We're fortunate to have most of our board members attending in person, with a few participating virtually. Thank you to everyone who's joining us today. This is our last quarterly meeting of the year. Since we last met in August, we've seen the men and women of public safety once again put to the test. Hurricane Fiona hit Puerto Rico in mid-September, and just a few days later we saw Hurricane Ian devastate parts of Florida and the Southeast. Yet again, we saw first responders from across our great country come together to help those in need. Their courageous actions and resilience throughout the response and recovery to those storms have been critical as residents work to get back on their feet. The FirstNet network was also up to the challenge in Florida. Through the deployable fleet and newer solutions such as compact rapid deployables, FirstNet was there for public safety in hard-to-reach areas like Sanibel Island and Pine Island. The FirstNet team found innovative ways to keep responders connected throughout the storm, something that we'll hear more about later in the meeting. These are the types of capabilities that Public Safety First envisioned and have asked for from FirstNet, and I'm proud to see that this public safety network continues to deliver for them during these important times. As I look back at my first full year as chair of the FirstNet Authority Board, I'm amazed to see how far this network has come in such a short period of time. But as we often say here, we know the work is not done. We have to get better and better every single year. The challenges of public safety continue to evolve, and we recognize there's still a lot more work to be done to fully realize public safety's vision for FirstNet. Over the last year, working with the amazing men and women of this organization and our partners at AT&T, we've been able to deliver an investment to public safety with our in-building investment and made sure, again, that the network was there for the men and women that we seek to serve every single day. And I am excited about what the next year will bring. Today, we will introduce our new board member. We're going to make the public aware of our board meeting schedule for calendar year 2023. We're going to announce the recipient of the Chief Harlan R. McEwen Public Safety Broadband Communications Award. We're going to receive a Public Safety Advisory Committee update from Chair Christopher Lombard. And we're also going to get reports back from our Advocacy Committee, our Programs and Future Planning Committee, and the Finance and Investment Committee as well. Today, we're so pleased to have Alan Davidson with us today. Alan, thank you for being here, Assistant Secretary of Commerce for Communications and Information, and the NTIA Administrator. Alan, we're glad to have your support, and thank you for being here with us today. And April, thank you for your constant partnership as well. I'd like to thank our board secretary, Janelle. Would you please call the roll to confirm that each committee has a quorum? Please call the roll, and then also please read the conflict statement.
Sure. Good morning, everyone. I'll mark you as present. Chair Benjamin. Richard Carrizo.
Here.
Billy Bob Brown, Jr. Robert Brown.
Present.
Brian Crawford.
Present.
Alexandra Fernandez Navarro. Renee Gordon. Present. Kristen Graziano. Present. Billy Hughes.
Present.
Peter Katusian.
Present.
Warren Mickens.
Present.
Sylvia Moyer. Jocelyn Moore.
Present.
Paul Patrick.
Present.
Sylvia Moyer.
Present.
Thank you. Mr. Chair, we have a quorum for the board as well as for all 4 committees. Now I'll read the conflicts statement. Prior to participating in the FirstNet Authority combined board and committees meeting today, the board members have reviewed the agenda as well as the conflict of interest guidance provided by the Ethics Law and Program Division of the Department of Commerce Office of General Counsel regarding the conflict of interest standards that apply to the board members. All board members have responded prior to today's meeting that they do not have a conflict and will not need to recuse themselves from participating in any portion of this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Janelle. Now I'd like to yield the floor to Assistant Secretary Davidson. Any words he may want to share?
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for having us here. I'll just say this is my first chance to attend a public board meeting for the FirstNet Authority since I joined the department. or rejoined the department. And I can't help but reflecting when I last left my last tour of duty at the department 6 years ago, just about 6 years ago, FirstNet was really, it was a PowerPoint deck. It was, it was an idea. And to see the progress that has been made over a very short period of time is really incredible. 4 million and more connections, 23,000 plus agencies subscribed, a network that really works, right? On sunny days and rainy days, in major disasters and everyday incidents. FirstNet is really delivering something that is incredibly important to our first responders and to our country. So I just want to say this is a major priority and a very important piece of work that we value at the department, at NTIA. I want to thank you all for your service on this board. We know you are busy people. You have a lot of things going on, but we really appreciate your service here. I want to welcome our newest board member. We're so delighted to have you here, Renee. And let me say thank you to our chair and vice chair for your leadership here. So I'm delighted to be able to join you today, and thank you again for the very important work that you and FirstNet are doing for our country.
Thank you so much, Alan. Each member of the board has before him or her the minutes of our August meeting. Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes at this time? Seeing none, I'll take a motion that we accept these minutes.
Mr. Chair, Paul Patrick, I make a motion that we approve the minutes.
Is there a second?
Mr. Chairman, Peter Katusian, I second the motion.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed?
Aye.
Are there any abstentions? All right. Seeing none, the August minutes are accepted. Madam Secretary, please make the minutes available to the public following this meeting. It's also my pleasure as our first official order of business to introduce our newest member of the FirstNet Authority Board, Ms. Renee Gordon, who joined us earlier this month. Full of energy and ready to hit the ground running. Renee is the director of the City of Alexandria's Department of Emergency and Customer Communications, where she oversees more than 71,000 incoming 911 calls a year. With her decades of service in the public safety profession, including careers as a police officer, Renee has been on the front lines and is a leader when it comes to leveraging innovation to support emergency communications. So while Renee is new to the board, she's no stranger to FirstNet or public safety communications. We're excited about her ability to hit the ground running with us on the board. So everyone, please give Renee a warm welcome to the authority.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am very honored to be here. This mission is something that I truly, deeply just believe in. And it's such a brilliant idea. I wish I had thought of it first. It solves the issues of interoperability that we have learned from our mistakes and some of the tragic incidents that have happened around the country. But we are putting action behind all of that. And it is great to be a part of this organization. It's important for emergency communications because we make a lot of decisions about how interoperability goes. And I got to thank Karima for, getting us here in this space. She made this happen. And I'm just happy to be here. Thank you for the floor.
No, thank you, and we're excited to have you here. And we'd also like to certainly recognize the service of Karima Holmes as a member of this board. 3 years of dedicated service to the authority. Karima, thank you for all your contributions to FirstNet in that time, and especially helping us better understand, as Renee said, how 911 and the FirstNet systems could be best integrated to enhance the complete emergency communications ecosystem. We all wish you the very best. Looking ahead, the board schedule has been established for the upcoming calendar year. The board will meet once a quarter in February, May, August, and November. The August meeting will include the board's approval of the fiscal year 2024 budget. Information about these meetings will continue to be made available in the Federal Register notice and on the FirstNet.gov website. Moving on, I'm particularly excited for the Chief Harlan R. McEwen Public Safety Broadband Communications Award recipient announcement. We're privileged to name the recipient of this award. And I'm going to turn the microphone over to Vice Chair Rich Carrizo to announce this year's award.
Thank you, Chairman Benjamin. In 2017, a little bit of history, the Harlan R. McEwen Award was established. That award was to establish, he was the first chair of the PSAC, and he was very pivotal in the creation and early days of FirstNet, one of the forethinkers that you were wishing you could be, but it was Harlan, as some say. Now this annual award honors somebody in the public safety broadband communications space that has made a positive difference for the years to come. This year, the FirstNet Authority and Board are honored to award the Harlan R. McEwen Public Safety Broadband Communications Award to John Stevens. John is the New Hampshire Statewide Interoperability Coordinator, or SWIC, from the New Hampshire Department of Public Safety. He is responsible for statewide public safety communications coordination as it's related to federal, state, county, and local governments, including activities that are critical to FirstNet operations in the state. He's been a staunch supporter of FirstNet's growth and adoption across New Hampshire and the New England region. He advocated for the coordinated statewide implementation of a system to provide interoperability communications, video, and data sharing to all dispatch centers, hospitals, and major universities throughout the state. John has been a tough but very fair critic of FirstNet and has always sought to promote the network and its implementation and adoption by New Hampshire's public safety. He has spoken at hundreds of conferences, meetings, information sessions along with the FirstNet Authority and along with AT&T representatives, forming a strong team of advocates promoting the FirstNet mission. His reputation and standing are well known across New England and nationally with the National Council of Statewide Interoperability Coordinators. Before taking on this current role, John retired from the New Hampshire State Police as a commanding officer. Thank you for your service throughout. He was responsible for the troop operations and is a graduate of the FBI National Academy. With a lifelong career in public safety and his work to support the broadband communications capabilities, we are honored to present the 2022 Harlan R. McEwen Award to John T. Stevens. And before you come up, I just want to let you know I have been in contact with Harlan this morning, and he wanted to wish you the very best and wish he could be here, but he wanted to say congratulations. Congratulations.
Well, good morning. This is certainly a circuitous path that I've followed to get to this point in my career. Receiving the Harlan McEwen Award is a distinction and an honor that I take very personally. I've had the opportunity to meet Harlan. We've had a number of conversations over the years. And again, to have an award in his name is certainly incredibly important to me, and it's an honor. But I accept this award certainly on behalf of the state of New Hampshire, the Department of Safety, and certainly the Statewide Interoperability Executive Committee, who negotiated over the last 5 years with AT&T and FirstNet to bring FirstNet capability to New Hampshire. It has been an amazing success, and it has only happened because of the partnerships that have been created to make this happen. You know, we've asked of FirstNet and we've asked of AT&T to meet with us on a quarterly basis, sometimes on a monthly basis, sometimes on a weekly basis, based on things that are happening and going on in state. And to have that partnership and to be able to push the FirstNet mission forward has been extremely important for public safety in New Hampshire. As a former public safety representative in New Hampshire, I knew how important FirstNet could be in New Hampshire, and that is the reasons why there were so many different pathways that we followed in the beginning and to where we are here today. And it is a testament to all of the work that has been done there. I certainly want to acknowledge Bruce Fitzgerald, who is the liaison person in New Hampshire that works with us continually. I wish to also present Owen Smith, who's the president of AT&T Northern New England, and the RAND engineers that we meet with on a quarterly basis. It is important for us to have those talks. It's important for us to have those negotiations. And the bottom line for New Hampshire is that I think, based on what we've been able to accomplish over the last 5 years, it is really a model for the rest of the country, because you have to have that continuing contact to make this a success. So in that regard, I certainly want to thank the board. I'm honored to be here. I was certainly honored to have you in New Hampshire back in May. I want you to know that that standing invitation is always available. If you would like to come back to New Hampshire, we would certainly like to have you there. But this mission is too important to not take seriously. We've had great success in New Hampshire, but there's much work yet to be done, and we stand ready to do that. So from certainly the bottom of my heart, personally, I thank you for this award, and it is certainly an honor to have this award in the name of Harlan McEwen. So thank you very much.
Congratulations, John. A much-deserved honor, and thanks for your continued dedication to the public safety community. Now we're going to get an update on the Public Safety Advisory Committee from our PSAC Chair, Chris Lombard, and the members of the PSAC Exec Committee. Chris.
Good morning. It's great to see everyone. I'd like to thank the FirstNet Authority and board members for having me today. As you all know, the PSAC is also meeting this week, just next door behind us here. We had a great full day yesterday, and we are continuing through early this afternoon. The other executive committee members and I met with the board yesterday morning and had a great conversation. We really appreciate the board taking the time to really get to know the PSAC leadership. Some recent PSAC accomplishments. Since the board last met, the PSAC has kept busy as usual. We held our bi-monthly webinar series in September, where we heard plans for the 2023 roadmap update and recent messaging. Also in September, a small group of PSAC members and I met with the FirstNet Authority staff in Reston for a user group meeting where we got in depth on the FirstNet and Network Experience Engagement Program, or NEEP, and post-incident event review, or PIER, peer engagements. The PSAC heard about this yesterday, and I think this will be an interesting and a valuable line of work going forward. Just last week, I had the opportunity to meet with some of the tribal working group delegates in Boulder. We toured the Boulder lab, heard great updates from AT&T, and shared perspectives about tribal public safety needs. I'd like to thank Vice Chair, or Acting Tribal Working Group Chair, Jared Godfrey, for taking the helm at that meeting. Lastly, you'll see we've had 2 new members nominated for the PSAC since the last board meeting. Darren Jones, previously on this board, from the FBI, and Brandon Abley from NENA, and a longtime PSAC member representing NCJA, John Sweeney, was appointed to the executive committee. PSAC look ahead. As I mentioned, the PSAC is currently holding its in-person meeting, and we look forward to having the board members join us after their meeting concludes here. On the horizon for next year, we will be conducting the biannual membership nomination process for the 2023-2025 membership term. FirstNet Authority will be reaching out to all PSAC association leadership to either renominate their current member or nominate a new one. We are also working with the authority to plan PSAC work for next year to include full membership, the tribal working group, our virtual touch points, and continued engagements with the public safety. I look forward to the continued collaboration. Again, it's been just an outstanding group of people to work with. The varied inputs, ideas, experiences the group brings to the FirstNet, I think is going to continue to help us build a better, more robust network to serve the greater needs of public safety and those members and those people here in the United States. If there are no questions, that concludes my update, and I'll turn the floor back over to you, Chair Benjamin, and then head back to my meeting next door.
Any questions for the Chairman? If not, no, Chris, thank you to you and the PSAC Exec Committee. We enjoyed spending some time with you the last couple of days and look forward to joining you at the meeting shortly. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right. We'll now get an update from the Advocacy Committee. I'll turn it over to our Vice Chair and Chair of the Advocacy Committee, Richard Carrizo.
Thank you, sir. My update this morning will review a little bit of the last quarter and 2022 public safety engagements and activities that the Advocacy Committee took place. So we're going to start with the fourth quarter. FirstNet Authority staff and some of the board members, Sheriff Peter Katusian and Kristen Graziano, participated in the IACP conference in Dallas last month. The staff led a panel discussions on on-body cameras and use of video and use of technology to improve community trust through FirstNet. Both panels had full attendance, each of them, with over 150 participants. The team presented at several committees and sections, including technology, Indian country, community policing, homeland security, and the state criminal intelligence agencies, and conducted other many one-on-one activities throughout the conference. The team noticed a significant shift from last year's conference on the participation and what people brought back into FirstNet of not quite completing understanding it to complete usage of FirstNet this year. Next was the International Association of Fire Chiefs. It was their Technology Summit International. It was the first one they held with a high attendance of a little over 300 people. The pre-conference session, the team facilitated an in-depth discussion about public safety needs as they related directly to devices, as well as operational capabilities and the gaps that are known within structure fires. The summit was well attended, both by vendors and participants, with many interactions between the both. The FirstNet Authority provided other meetings on the topic of the Connect Firefighter, and I had the opportunity to participate myself in a roundtable about user experiences and the importance of designing technology for first responders. This conference provided new and unique opportunities to engage with technology-specific personnel from various agencies who actively sought out FirstNet Authority. But what we also learned while we were there was that the job of this board doesn't cease. What we learned was that 101 FirstNet is always going to have to be done because too many people are turning over constantly, and we had kept hearing that people did not understand FirstNet, and it was just kind of odd after 5 years they didn't, and it kind of brought reality to the whole of our mission of this board. Next is the EMS World. Paul Patrick attended the EMS World, which is one of the largest EMS dedicated events with approximately 8,000 to 10,000 in attendance. The staff was there also. The team spoke with many FirstNet adopters as well as those who had never heard of FirstNet, which highlighted opportunities for further engagements, which we heard also at the fire. The team also had the opportunity to visit with medical technology vendors who utilize wireless technologies to perform ultrasounds. Some of our accomplishments in 2022 for this past year, as you can see, the FirstNet Authority engagement with public safety this year was far-reaching. We participated in over 1,800 engagements, touching every state and territory across the disciplines and levels of government, including state, local, tribal, and federal. These numbers, along with the feedback we're getting from public safety, indicate public safety continues to see value in engaging with the FirstNet Authority. Staff collected over 2,200 unique feedback items through these engagements. This feedback reflects many positive experiences customers are having with FirstNet, as well as some negative experience and many considerations for future enhancement of the network and network experience. It is so important that we continue to gather this feedback, both positive and negative, in order to continue to build the nation's only first responder public safety broadband network. In our next two slides, I'll review a little bit of the feedback that we received. If we change this, there we go. As we're out in the public safety, hearing what we need and want from FirstNet, they continue telling us how the network is helping them in their day-to-day and with their operations. This slide reflects a few of the features that we've participated hearing about. features that help them work with enhanced situational awareness, better coverage and connection, and the support they need as they continue to work towards their missions. The authority is committed to working with our partner, AT&T, and public safety to continue evolving the network so it meets first responders' needs now and into the future. We want to help public safety efforts to embrace mobile data and broadband. Public safety feedback leads to the FirstNet solutions. Over this last fiscal year, AT&T has rolled out many features that directly address public safety feedback the FirstNet Authority has captured, summarized, and provided back to AT&T. Some of these solution enhancements address feedback captured over many years, with solutions entering the marketplace in this fiscal year. For example, AT&T now offers multiple mission-critical push-to-talk solutions, including our FirstNet Push PPT and Rapid Response. Additionally, FirstNet PTT releases include additional features informed by the public safety feedback that we received. AT&T expanded the mission-critical ecosystem beyond mission-critical push-to-talk to include mission-critical data, video, which is the key as agencies have expressed. For example, the importance of real-time sharing video and data during an emergency situation. Public safety has emphasized the need to know not only X and Y location, but also the Z location, or more or less, what floor is my personnel on? AT&T now offers a height above terrain measurement in the response for FirstNet application, which is the first step towards providing public safety more complete and attainable and actionable information. And of course, I want to highlight the action of this board that we took earlier this year, approving an investment to address one of public safety's top critical communications priorities in building coverage. The investment aims to coverage small cell technology to enhance FirstNet Band 14 coverage where public safety operates in building, such as police headquarters, fire stations, emergency communication centers, and EOCs. I'll give an example. Last week, while we were attending the VCOS conference within the fire service, many did not know about this, and AT&T was there firsthand to provide information, and the overwhelming of joy that they had immediately, like that they had a solution and that it was free, was just incredible. It was just a great example. Some of our things that we're looking at ahead. As we start this next fiscal year, our next chapter is really upon the authority. Call it 3.0, call it whatever you want, but we are in our next chapter. We'll be engaging public safety through two major buckets. We'll be doing discipline engagement. The market engagement team, along with board members, are developing target enhancements for public safety communities, including the law enforcement, fire, EMS, emergency management, emergency communication centers, and defense and national security to continue our outreach and education. A better way to understand public safety's current use of and needs for products and services in various operational environments, and help public safety monitorize and evolve operations throughout FirstNet. We'll also be engaging in state and federal engagements. The FirstNet Authority will continue to provide FirstNet updates and engage FirstNet customers to understand their experience with FirstNet across all 56 states and territories, working with local, state, and tribal agencies. And our government engagement team will execute similar work with our federal agencies and partners, all helping this board make better strategic decisions into our next phase of FirstNet. Mr. Chair, that concludes my report for the Advocacy Committee for this quarter and past year. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Rich. We're now going to get an update in the Programs and Future Planning Committee from Jocelyn Moore, our chair.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Good morning. Today, I'd like to share some of the primary takeaways from our in-depth Programs and Future Planning Committee meeting on October the 27th. The authority staff updated the committee on FirstNet user eligibility, which the board will recall was an action item from our board meeting last quarter, the status of Band 14 deployment, and low Earth orbit satellite technology evolution. As the board knows, the initial Band 14 radio access network deployment will be reaching completion in March of 2023. Let me repeat that. The initial Band 14 RAN deployment will be reaching completion in March of 2023. The committee is very excited to see the tremendous amount of progress in the growth of the Band 14 coverage footprint year over year, and even more impressive if you consider the deployment of Band 14 started in 2018. That's over 2.8 million square miles of coverage in just over 4 years. We are pleased to report that the adoption of FirstNet service by our nation's first responders continues to grow at a fast pace. Next slide, please. The slide you are currently viewing summarizes several key aspects of the FirstNet network momentum. Some highlights from the past quarter include: there are now more than 525 FirstNet-ready devices available on the network. Over 1,000 solutions have been deployed for public safety so far this year. That includes 2 unique uses during response to Hurricane Ian in September. The AT&T FirstNet team loaded a compact radio deployable, or CRD, on an amphibious vehicle and took it to Sanibel Island, where it provided Band 14 access to first responders. The team also helped provide communications to Pine Island, where residents were stranded. Working with local and government agencies, FirstNet placed a CRD into a helicopter so that first responders could access wireless service. Those are tremendous, tremendous assets indeed, and we thank all of the AT&T team, the FirstNet team, and everybody on the ground who helped in that response. I'm also pleased to share that FirstNet is now providing quality, priority, and preemption capable wireless service for more than 4 million public safety device connections. The graph behind me shows the growth we have seen since 2018. There are also now more than 23,000 public safety agencies and organizations across the nation using FirstNet. That is an increase of 4,400 agencies since the end of 2021. I will now turn the meeting back over to you, Chairman Benjamin. Thank you.
Amazing accomplishments, and we're so excited about this this partnership and the work of the men and women of FirstNet. So thank you so much, Jocelyn. Now we're going to turn the floor over to Brian Crawford, the chair of our Finance and Investment Committee. Brian.
Thank you, Chairman Benjamin. The Finance Committee is responsible for reviewing and providing guidance on the FirstNet Authority's financial matters. Specifically, the committee assures appropriate internal controls, independent audit, and financial analysis of the authority's operations and investments. The responsible management of the finances of the FirstNet Authority ensures adequate funds for the annual operations of the authority and for the reinvestments provided for the maintenance, the operations, and improvements of the nationwide public safety broadband network. The FirstNet Authority finished its fiscal year 2022 on September 30th, 2022, with total cumulative obligations of $78.4 million to close the fiscal year with a 1% variance to the board-authorized budget. This next slide illustrates the $13 million of obligations made during the first month of fiscal year 2023, ending October 31st. And the blue line illustrates our budgeted obligations forecasted for the remaining 11 months of fiscal year 2023. Mr. Chairman, that concludes the Finance and Investment Committee's business for today. I turn the floor back over to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brian. Before we conclude our business for the day, well, the official business is over. I do want to once again welcome our newest board member, Renee Gordon, and also again congratulate John Stevens on the Harlan McEwen Award and thank him for his continued leadership. I also want to give thanks to Robert Brown and Team FBI for incredible hospitality yesterday. I think Sheriff Katujian is still in the gift shop right now. So if you can get him out of there so we can get the meeting started, that'd be great. We were all like kids in the candy store in there. Amazing work being done by the men and women of the FBI. And we thank you for your hospitality and showing how we can continue to work together in the interest of public safety going forward. I do want to again just thank the men and women of the first responders all across this country for what has not only been a great support and adoption of the technologies that continue to be developed by our team in partnership with AT&T as well, but as I think John illuminates, and Rich mentioned, the constant constructive criticism that forces us all to be better every single day and continue to make the investments necessary to make sure that when these tough times emerge, and they will continue to, that we're always able to be there. I want to thank my colleagues on this board for your constant leadership. There's so much more work to be done. Lisa, I want to thank you. We had a pastor at our church who was pastor for 47 years, and when he left, we were lucky enough, blessed, maybe Providence, to have a pastor who stood in the gap for a while there. And although you've been acting, you've done a fantastic job of leading this organization. And really want to say thank you to you and to Janelle and to all the men and women of FirstNet. Even sometimes under difficult circumstances, you guys work hard. You work hard and in the interests of the men and women of public safety, and I believe you represent the very best of us. And once you know you have our full support as you continue to work on our behalf. I'm going to pass it over to you, say a few words, and share some thoughts.
One, I do want to echo, we have a fantastic team at FirstNet. Very hardworking, very behind the mission, the best that I've seen in my 31, as of this week, government career. So appreciate your comments on that. I do want to echo your congratulations to John Stevens for the Harlan Award. Very well deserved. I do appreciate your remarks on how important the partnership is. That is how we succeed at FirstNet and how public safety succeeds in having us all work together. I'd also like to welcome Renee. I want to thank you. I know the FirstNet team and I are looking forward to continuing. I know we've worked with you in the past and continuing to gain insight about public safety and 911 from you. And I know that will help us move public safety and the network further ahead. Before we do conclude today, though, I do want to provide an update on the executive search for the CEO position. The USA Jobs posting closed a few weeks ago on October 24th, and we are now firmly into the next stage of the recruitment process for the CEO job. It's a top priority for the board and for the department. So while the process will move as quickly as we can to fill the position, we do intend to be thorough in the search and will not sacrifice any quality for that speed. I do want to thank everyone who has expressed interest in the position. We are really encouraged by the number and the quality of applications, and we'll be providing more information as the process moves forward. And based on what people hear about our mission, it's a fantastic place to work, so not surprised at the very high interest in this position. But looking ahead to 2023 and our top priorities, as Jocelyn mentioned, the initial 5-year build-out of Band 14 is on track for completion in the first part of the calendar year. With that milestone, the FirstNet Authority will focus on evolving and growing the network through investments and other efforts. And that's why public safety engagements are really essential to the success of the next phase of the network. Our work directly with the public safety across the country and the feedback we received from Chairman Lombard and the PSAC remains critically important. As we heard from Vice Chair Caruso's update today, we have a comprehensive plan for engaging with public safety through 2 paths in the upcoming year: a discipline-based approach, which will connect us at the public safety at the local level, and then also the team will pursue a state and federal approach for engagement. This will really complement our ongoing work with PSAC. We look forward to moving out on these priorities, again, in partnership with all the other organizations. And additionally, over this past year, I also wanted to mention that we were focused on the process to renew the FirstNet Authority's Band 14 spectrum license at the Federal Commission, Communications Commission. The FirstNet Authority filed its renewal application in August, and the proceeding remains pending before the FCC. The team and I look forward to working with the board and public safety to accomplish our goals and ensure that FirstNet is a success in 3.0, as Rich said. Turn it back to you, Chairman.
Well, thank you, Lisa. And again, Alan and April, thank you again for your continued support and partnership. I can only imagine how many dozens of other places you need to be right now. So taking the time to be with us.
Glad to be here, and thank you for your leadership, and along with my deputy here, our DAS, April Delaney, who's been with you, I know, through many of these meetings. We're incredibly supportive of this work, and I'm glad to be able to join you today.
And that extends, of course, also to Mike Dame, too. Mike, thank you for always being there. I think that's we're about done, ready to adjourn. So if we have a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, Kristen Graziano, I would like to make that motion to adjourn.
All right, is there a second?
Mr. Chairman, designated board member Robert Brown, second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, like sign. All right, any abstentions? Seeing none, we'll declare this meeting adjourn. Thank you so much.